What up, folks? How's everybody doing out there?
What
We're
up?
doing good. Rob's somewhere. I'm in the other place. Lino's somewhere else. This is awesome, folks. If you don't know Lino Martinez, you should. Lino, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing excellent. I'm powered by plants. I just had a all vegetable organic drink, did my workout. I'm ready to be online with you guys and then do another podcast right after this. Thanks so much.
Nice, not a problem. Thank you for coming on. You have a very unique story.
Yes.
You've had 40 surgeries in 41 years of life.
No, actually, I'm going to correct you. I've actually had over 40 surgeries in 10 years. Yeah.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing.
That of which I'm actually in the middle of becoming, I guess the way that I say is my inner Jedi mode. And I've interviewed countless people that have healed their own diseases. If the body has the ability to create a disease, it has the ability to destroy it. So I'm on a mission to not have any more.
I like it. I like it.
Let me ask this,
Yeah.
because you said a lot of surgeries, 10 years. What's your mindset on that? Like, is there a lot of mental mindset in healing on top of the fact that you've had a lot of surgeries?
Absolutely. And I'm going to change the word from healing to wellness, because a lot of it has to do with how you think about words, because all words and everything that you think has a vibrational frequency. And if you vibrate high and if you think in that high vibration, everything starts automatically changing for you. So rather than me saying I'm on a healing journey, I say I'm on a wellness journey, because if you say you're on a healing journey, you're going to always be healing. You're never going to be well. So if you just change that mindset, change that thought to I'm on a wellness journey, everything else is going to be well.
Nice. I like that. That is pretty inspirational.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Definitely. Now you have a podcast yourself, and I'm just going to read my notes here because I got to jot things down. That's just
yeah.
A little less fear talking outside the box. I kind of like the way that sounds. You want to give our viewers and listeners kind of a synopsis on what that is?
Yeah, so basically, the genetic disease that I was born with is called Muckowell syndrome, statistically 1 in a million, in which it was taking my life, and all these surgeries to save my life. And in between all of that, I had lost my voice for 2 years, so I had to learn sign language to communicate. And in between learning sign language and in between the pain of having paralyzed vocal cords, I got in touch with my higher self and my guardian angels and everything. And I thought, you know what? I promise that if my voice comes back and I become aligned with the best version of myself, I'm going to use my voice and utilize my voice to uplift others that don't have a voice. And in that, I also had to reveal the truth about myself, and the truth about myself being that I'm not 100% male. I was born female. And a lot of transgenders, a disclosure, this might offend some transgender people, but this is my personal journey. And in my personal journey, being born as a female, I had to let go of the fact that it's okay to embrace the female part of myself. So a lot of the things that I see with transgender people is that they want to do away with their former gender. And I was like, well, this is why we need to talk outside the box, because a lot of us are both genders. Actually, all of us are humans, and even animals, even ducks. I mean, we're all both spirits. We're two spirits. And if I'm able to embellish and relinquish that part of myself, then I can flourish. And then that's why I titled it, let's have a little bit less fear here. And actually, I first thought less fear. And I was brainstorming with my brother, and my brother was like, nah, that sounds like that brand No Fear. I'm like, that's true. I was like, how about a little less fear? He's like, yeah, I like the sound of that. So I went with just a little less fear. And with that little less fear, I was able to do my very first podcast over a year ago. And the very, very first podcast was me coming out as transgender and how hard it was to actually reveal that truth. But I love myself, and I love the fact that I'm both spirits.
You mentioned that I really want to dive deeper into the fact that you said you still hold on to that female side of you in certain ways. You talk a little deeper about that, because like you said, everybody's trying to get rid of it. What is that you're holding on, and what does that give you, like by honoring that there's still that?
Yeah, what it gives me is vitality. So basically, I was not letting myself be my full self by muting my past. And a lot of people mute their past, a lot of transgender people, because of trauma. And I I actually have, again, my life story is different. I started my transition at 34 years old. My first 34 years as a female. If anything, she's a badass. She was a badass. I'm telling you the truth. I mean, she got me my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, my doctorate degree. She's the one that went over 30 surgeries. And she's the one that said, hey, I feel your male energy wants to come out. You want to express yourself mostly as a male. That's how you feel comfortable. Go ahead and do it. So if anything, I have her to thank every which way. Her name was Carolina, by the way. And I still feel her presence, and she's giving me more life force. When I was able to embrace that part of myself and thank her for helping Lino come to the forth to where I am now, it just gave me more life, and everything else started clearing up.
Let me ask you really quick about, you're saying a little less fear.
Mhm.
That's for everybody in the world.
Yeah.
We all could do well with living with a little less fear. When you talk about that, in your particular, obviously, how did you overcome that part of the fear that you were dealing with, and how can that really help anybody in any situation?
Meditation is key. I know it sounds cliche, a lot of people hear it, but that is the truth. And it's 100% the truth. When you start to connect with your inner self and you learn to quiet your mind and sweep away thoughts that aren't yours versus thoughts that are coming in, you're able to hone in on your life's purpose. And when you're able to hone in on your life's purpose or your spirit's purpose, or however you want to say it, it really starts to align things. And just sweeping away the fear is sweeping away the negativity, sweeping away other thoughts and things that society tries to put on other people, such as labels and stuff like that.
And let me take that a little bit further. I'm going to call this like ripping off the Band-Aid. When you
Yeah.
actually had to make a conscious decision to rip off the Band-Aid, which is probably the biggest part of fear, is to actually make a decision and go with something which you know is going to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What was the process for you? And then was the ripping off the Band-Aid as bad as you thought it was going to be?
When I hear ripping off the Band-Aid, I've quite ripped off many Band-Aids with so
Yes.
many surgeries. And after losing my urinary bladder, I lost my ability to pee when I was 26 years old. And by 33 years old, they tried to save my urinary bladder and they were unable to. So I had a complete radical, it's called a cystectomy. My urinary bladder, my appendix, and my urethra, and about 30 inches of my small intestine was all removed in one major 13-hour surgery. And that took about 5 years to heal. And with that time of healing and catheterizing and feeling just so unjust with my new circumstances as a disabled person, I was able to then figure out that everything else that I'm going to face in my life was not going to be that big of a deal. Changing my transition, coming out to my family, that was challenging. But after you losing your ability to pee, something that as you feel as a human right, that people just do so effortlessly, not having to worry about, going to the restroom, making sure things are sanitized, hoping you don't get an infection, just so much. It actually ripped off the Band-Aid, quite literally.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Actually, listening to the story, I always have a question for folks. And my question always is your first step. Being sports guys, we always know what's going to happen within the first step, first 6 inches of something. For you to give advice to people, what would you say your first step is?
Trust yourself, trust your instincts. A lot of people they don't even know how to hone into the instincts, which is why meditation is so important. Also, eating whole foods, whole organic foods. Like when you clear your mind and you're eating stuff that's alive, it gives you life. If you're eating stuff that's dead, you're going to be dead inside. These are not my words. I heard it. I listened to it. I practiced it, and it's true. When you're eating whole foods, the things that Mother Nature is giving humans to succeed as a human being, inside and out, it quite literally brings you to life. So the advice that I would give to people is eat organic foods. There's a lot of stuff that's processed, that's not real food. If it's not alive, it's not going to keep you alive for long. And learn to meditate and trust yourself. When you do that, you're becoming one with the earth, and you start trusting your intuition more. You become more Jedi mode. You even become more psychic. And it's not psychic because you're gifted. It's psychic because it's within us. It just brings us to life.
What is it that you're reaching out? Are there people that can contact you and work through things to help them? Is there a way to find out how to connect with you to help them through the things that they're going through?
Yeah, I mean, I always offer that, and I do offer that on my website. If people have questions, they can connect with me. They can email me. They can message me through Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I welcome all walks of life on my podcast. Just whoever wants to motivate people, share their story. Everybody's welcome.
We will have that information down below for everybody, so you guys can check it out. So you guys can get in contact with Lino. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, not a problem. So I want to know, what came first? The
Chicken
book
or the egg?
Podcast.
Sorry, I just stepped on you. What did you say?
It happens. I'm used to it.
What came first? I didn't hear the second part.
No, not a problem. The book or the podcast?
That's a very good question. The book came first. The book came first in the back of my mind years ago, and I knew that I had to write a book. Also, too many doctors and nurses were always telling me, like, how do you have this energy? How are you? You just went through something crazy. How are you doing? You got to write a book. I'm like, okay, I know that I'm going to have to write a book. And when my voice started to come back, it came back very slowly. It was cracky. It was painful to talk. Even it was painful to breathe. So I knew, and I knew that I needed to get my book, a message out there. And I thought, well, you know, the best way to do it is to do a podcast. And then that way I can limit my talking to 30 minutes, and then I can get straight to the point. And then I can also practice the muscles in my larynx and build myself up from there. So lo and behold, the pandemic happened, which is perfect timing for me to sit down and hone in on writing the book. So I wrote the book, and the podcast came about the same time, but the podcast came out first.
So the mentality was going at the same time. Everything fired off.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Going for full circle. There we go.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I'm just going to mark off a couple of things here. Rob, go ahead, sir.
No, I was just actually going to go on with that, like the book writing. How cathartic was it to get into writing it down and getting those thoughts out of your brain and into paper, and then reorganizing it? How important was it for you to do that as well?
Yeah, it came out very easy for me, easy flowing. I started writing when I was about 7 years old. That's why I always tell people to kind of hone in on your natural skills and go with it. And that's where you're going to excel the most. And I just decided to, the way I started was an outline. I was like, okay, well, I have to start from birth, because that's where everything started. So I started from birth, and it just went all the way up to age 40. I'm 42 now. So there's still a lot more that's happened in the last 2 years, but the first 40 years are in there, and it's a pretty lengthy book, 394 pages, that of which I have a lot of my poetry in there as well.
That's a novel.
I know. And part 2 will probably be coming out I don't know, maybe in the next 5 years or so.
Yes, that was my next question. When was another book coming? So next couple of years, right?
I will have to say 2 or 3 years. So much happens in my life in just the last 2 years that are not in the book. So and the first 40, I mean, the first 394 pages are really what I've gone through living with this genetic disease. And now I'm ready to write a book on how I'm on this wellness journey and how changing your mindset heals. So I'm quite excited about that.
With you getting your doctorate and doing everything, who is your mentor?
You know what? You're my mentor. Both you guys are my mentors. Anytime I get the ability and just the fact that you're able to even open up this window for me whenever I speak and people listen and ask questions, we're all mentorships here. That's what we're all doing together, and we're all connecting. Everybody's my mentor.
Nice.
You know, I appreciate that, because we do have this. We started it as just two fun guys trying to, deal with the pandemic and, keep our spirits up, and it's grown into interviewing people all over the world and all shapes, sizes, you name it. And every single time we interview somebody, we just fall in love with them and who they are and what they bring to the table. And I feel the same. You mentor me as well, and I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. Thank you so much. It's really quite a beautiful thing once we all start connecting.
I agree. I absolutely agree with you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Man, I'm amazed. I had like 97 questions, and I got to be honest, I threw a bunch of them out because we went in a direction that my questions just weren't going to fit in, at least in my opinion, into the direction that we wanted. I really love the direction that we went too. I got a question, and so I have brain fades all the time. So excuse my
It happens to me. It happens to me all the time. No worries.
Rob, you got anything? Because I just totally lost the question.
I thought you were going to go into talking about the AC/DC Black album, and
absolutely. Come on now.
Or you're going to Farley off or something,
Oh my God! Here we go again, Chris.
Lino, let me ask you this: Where generally are you located?
I'm in Pasadena, California.
Pasadena. Okay, so Pasadena, lots of stuff to do in LA and stuff. This was just more like, what's your favorite thing to visit and do out there? What is it that? Well, let me ask it this way: it doesn't even have to be a place. In your day, what's the one thing in your life that gives you the most joy?
Yeah, honestly right now, podcasting, talking to you guys, talking to people, reaching out to the world, that's bringing me a lot of joy. Also, I volunteer at a Buddhist center every Sunday, and talking with like-minded people, being in that same positive, wholesome, loving environment, that keeps me going, that keeps me pumping. So it's definitely opening the stream of people within the same frequency, vibing the same, and it's just all about love, really.
I'm gonna add a story,
Sure.
really quick, so it'll be a little what our Farleyism, we call it Chris Farley show, but and it talks about caring about each other, loving each other, which you're really bringing to this podcast and show. Last night I was at dinner, and there was a wonderful couple next to us, African American, and I looked over, and they've got the baby out of the stroller, woke up, and she was holding the baby. And I looked over, I'm like, he's just adorable. He's so cute. And she goes, do you want to hold him? And I said, first of all, I froze. And then I'm like, yeah. And we're in the middle of a restaurant, and I stand up, she brings over her baby, and I'm holding her baby. And just, my life got better at that moment. Yes. And I hope that the same for them. And so we look at what's going on all over this world, and yet right next to you, there's love and connecting. Will never see them again in my life. I didn't even get their name.
Oh, you didn't even know them, huh?
Not a clue. And I'm just saying, there's so much beautiful in the world. Turn off your TV.
Yes, absolutely.
See what's really the truth about this world. That there's a lot of wonderful, beautiful things that are going on in this world. And I just wanted to share that. And hopefully maybe you can share a story that you have that has similar feeling to it.
Yeah, well, actually, the attention you just brought to me was one of my best friends just had a baby. She's 8 months now, or 9 months actually. And she's the first baby I've been interacting with in over 9 or 10 years. And the thing that came to my mind right now when you said that you held this baby, all our love comes from our heart. It doesn't come from our brain. And you're holding a baby that close to your heart, that's just going to be pure unconditional love. So when you say, check it out, when people have cancer, people don't get cancer of the heart. The heart is the most purest thing there is. You get cancer of the brain, you get cancer everywhere, but there's no such thing as heart cancer, because that's your center, that's your love center. So when you're holding something, especially so pure like that, close to your heart, I mean, it's gonna fill you up. It's gonna engorge your blood, just your blood vessels, and crazy. It's amazing. It's gorgeous.
So we're saying that the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Yeah, John Lennon knew it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, now I've got the serious question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Pineapple belongs on pizza after I smoke a big fat blunt, for sure.
Yes.
I smoke a big fatty, and everything goes on my pizza.
I love it.
You have no control, but no, pineapple does not.
Lino, you're the best. Love you. So glad
and
blessed to have met you. And
what a blessing.
The best to you in this world. You're going to do amazing things, and keep going.
The both of you as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your love, your energy, and for your platform. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, folks, from all of us here at What Up with Rob and Chris, to all of you, have a great day and a better tomorrow. What up?
What up?
Totally. What up? Yeah.